We see the market in e-mobility as a huge market potential. It's still in its infancy. So we still have just a few cars on the road, be it in Europe, North America, China a bit more. But we see overall a big potential actually for e-mobility going forward, where we have a penetration rate right now of globally below 1%. There is huge upward potential. Now what we see is that the traditional OEMs are catching up massively, so we will see basically a fireworks of new models over the next 2 years. This plan of putting chargers every other kilometer and on the highway is a need, because we cannot have electromobility without the charging need. So it needs to go hand in hand together, but it also needs to be affordable. Yeah? So I think this is kind of the spread we have to take in India. We have some pilot projects now in Delhi where we installed our chargers. I think that's nicely taken. But if you look at the standards, at least at the 400 volt, then you can attract a lot of car manufacturers to bring their EVs also to India, because it's the normal standard. And like this, I think, is the right way going forward. And we as ABB think we're also very strong in India on the solar side as well. And now we can look at this from a complete ecosystem. So produce the energy renewable and basically consume it then as well without emissions. Yeah. So that is the strategy forward. I think one of the absolute core requirements is that there is clarity on the standard. You see, there is just too many standards out there right now. There is the CCS standard, there is a CHAdeMO standard, there is the Tesla has its own standard, the Chinese have their own standard, and there is the AC standard in multiple ways. So this makes it difficult if you install an infrastructure to have the right infrastructure for the right car. So if India would have come up again with an own standard, would have been very bad. So it's much better to align on one of the existing standards, where I think from the type of OEMs you have, most likely the CCS standard is the predominant one, probably with CHAdeMO for the Japanese as well. So in this combination going forward, this is one of the ground rules, not to reinvent the wheel. Take this. The other ground rule is the charging stations have to be accessible. So when you come and charge, not only that the plug works, but also that you're authorized to charge and that the billing and the payment works. So this is another ground rule, that you don't segment it too much, that it's not too fragmented at the end of the day, but that you have a network you can really utilize. Another ground rule is, of course, it's equipment with very high power you give in the hand of a consumer. And this is nothing which we see so far. I mean, high power, whatever UPS, where you generate DC high currents, is an enclosed environment. A solar inverter, an enclosed environment. Now, a charger you put out in the ground. Your wife might want to charge your car. Yeah? Your daughter want to charge your car. You give it in her hand. At the end, up to 500 amps. So if something happens, you don't want to imagine that. Yeah? So it's very important the stuff is safe. So to have harsh requirements on that is also very important.